Time for the JDM bad boys. If you don't know of these cars, then you probably have been hiding down some rocks somewhere. Today we have to check out the greatest JDMs of all time. If you were alive back in the 50s, which you are watching Auto Hunter by now, I can't imagine, but if you were, then hi dad, hope you could recall the memories in the Japanese racing of those days. Glad to meet you guys again. Now let's gander to the real move. Since we are talking about racetracks, we are going to talk about one of the most dominating Japanese tracks of all time. This, I mean the Godzilla. Specifically the one called the Skyline R32 GTR. You know what? It's at that blue racing car GTR that you played in bunch of video games in your kid days. You see, this was the generation of GTR that made the Skyline special, and that was because of its absolute domination in group racing. And you might actually see this in most racing events of all time. Next up is the freaking Supra, but not just any Toyota Supra we are talking about. One with some crazy twin turbo V12. Which, yes, it does exist. And simply to look at its sheer insanity of it, in fact you can never left it behind when ranking JDMs. It's considered quite low looking at a Supra without a 2JZ engine, and it might sound unattractive to most guys here, but still it can produce as much as 1000 horsepower. This Supra was personally made by the legendary Smokey Nagada,
こちらにもやっぱりスピードの人が多いらしくて勝負しに行きます。
who got his own vision to build a car of his own satisfaction, and in fact he did a great job.
Oh no, the British cops try to catch up with their go-karts.
Yeah, they got an onboard screen video recorder there.
This is what happened to the legendary Smokey.
Hey guys, how can you claim of being a car guy without being a subscriber of Auto Hunter? Smash that subscribe button, because this is the only place where the raw forgotten legendaries are still brought back to life. The R35 GTR is fantastic, but it's as old as death. And we all love the 90s Japanese sports cars. Currently at this time, I think Nissan has been the only company who has been able to persevere in this phase of adversity. Unfortunately, at our generation, we haven't received the real Mitsubishi Eclipse. We have lost our Supra. We have lost the NSX, which are great cars, gone are those days. There are no more even real Evos. And Nissan as a manufacturer till date has been the only company who has been able to retain its DNA. Their grand elder, the R35, has still throws a light at the current legendary GTR R35, and for this reason the GTR R35 still retains up on the spot market in today's world. The 180 SX Type X is often one of the most sought after S13 variants. XSs are real great cars. This car took the coveted Japan Car of the Year award when it was first released in the market back in the 1988, and since then it has become one of the most highly acclaimed drift chassis ever constructed and completed. Anyway, they changed the game for the S14 variant and the S15 when they arrived. Over the eventual lifespan of JDM S13, there were 3 body styles: the 180SX hatchback, the Silvia Coupe, and the rarer convertible alternative as well. Whether you like it or not, the RX-7 is one of the most iconic cars since history. Its engines is one of the most reason they hold their real value. The FD RX-7 has everything going for it. The appreciation value isn't going anywhere in this time, and there are plenty of modifications available for it. If you can put up with that sort of thing, it's got decent reliability for a rotary engine, and it just looks one alright. The RX-7 hosts a true driving style that can't be found in many other cars. A clean Datsun Z . Used to go for like a little bit under 10,000k, but now they demand like 25,000. That's too much anyway. But aside its bad price, it's pretty cool car. They feature an inline 6 motor. See, if you can locate a 240, a 260 or a 280Z with a pristine body and a reasonable price, you should get your hands on it, because this car on the other hand isn't one that can normally be kept on stock owing to its outmoded mentality. And because of its analog nature, it's a car that can just get to control and have some fun drifts with it. But hey, you just to be careful with those frame rails here, because they do have the tendency to rust seriously. Datsun are one of the best looking cars once you modify them as well. I'm using this segment as a kind of a like where the R34 GTR should live. Especially, I'm going to focus on the Z-Tune, which is the greatest R34 GTR ever. And only 19 were made to production, and Nissan started with the R34 GTR, which was already just outstanding. Nissan took this R34 GTR and gave it to the boys at Nismo, who stripped it down for the racetrack and bumped it up to as much as 500 horsepower. They've got added some special aero give, and boom, they tuned the car into a Z-Tune sports car. Toyota was a spearhead of JDM game in the 90s, so when the MK4 Supra was threatened by the GTR Skyline, the response was more of an afterthought than a real challenge. They took one of their best known Lexus sports cars, one comparable to the IS300, and slapped a 2JZ all-wheel drive combo on it, and it was just for fun. So from this resulted the JZX100 Toyota Chaser, an opening to bless a sportier, smaller car with the same luxury components as afforded as a crown car. A 1JZ powered rear-wheel drive X100 and the all-wheel drive 2JZ powered JZX100 both top the 276 horsepower limit. There are lots to talk of, but don't forget the name, Auto Hunter. Give us a like, subscribe to us, and see you in the next.